everybody. I'm here for another session on the creation of my gratitude journal. And we finished it up last week with everything, all the changes and the painting and everything that we wanted to do for both sides of the journal. But what I want to do before I start anything else is I want to take an archival ink. Doesn't have to be this particular Ranger one, but an ink that is water, that's permanent and waterproof. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to edge all the way around the journal. I just think it kind of gives it a finished look instead of having the lighter edges. I'm just going to lightly go around it. I don't mind if I get some on the page itself and not actually in addition to getting it on the edge. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. And I may end up having to do the back side because it doesn't always get inked as well as the front side does. Run across the one side of this page. Now to go across the other side. This is the page where my cover will go, so that's why it doesn't have anything on it. And I put elements on the embellishments on the front page, even though it's going to be covered up, it doesn't really matter. Won't hurt anything. You won't be able to see it. I just wasted a little bit of time doing it. Okay, so that's both sides of the front side, and let's do the back side if I need to. Yeah, it doesn't look like I really got much of it. I could have done this off camera, but I know sometimes, people will say, well, I wish you'd shown us how to do it. Obviously, you know how to do this, so I'm not too concerned about it. But anyway, I thought I'd do it since I've got it out here and I had to do it. And I just recorded along with the first spread that we're going to do later on. After I finish all this. Okay, that's that side. Flip it around and do the other side. I don't know how well I've stayed in camera, but hopefully I have. Not that you need to watch me do this. Oh, that little page, that needs to be stuck down. I'll take care of that later. Got a nice little, I've got the ink all over my hands, so I'm gonna have to get a baby wipe out and clean my hands off before I start. As I mentioned to you before, I'm gonna do a pumpkin, and let me clean my hands off. I had the baby wipes on the other side of my room. Not that it was exactly the room, but because I worked on a charcoal drawing. And when you use charcoal, your hands get really dirty. And so I had the baby wipes over on that side of the room because I had to keep cleaning my hand. That's not going to come out because it's waterproof, but at least, it's not going to be coming off on anything else, I don't think. Okay, so let's get this put back together. And this is the back side, so this is the side where we're going to start. And this is the first spread that we're going to do. And I'm going to kind of clamp this down so it doesn't move around so much. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, I've got a piece of music paper, and I'm going to loosely draw out a pumpkin. Now, maybe I'll do it with a pen instead of doing it with that so you can see it. The pumpkins have different sections on them, but this is kind of the basic shape of a pumpkin, the overall shape. And there's a stem, which if it's on the vine, it's curlicue. That was not going to be cut out, but anyway, it's there. And then those shapes come like this. And kind of the one on the front makes, it starts going in the opposite direction. So that's basically what a pumpkin looks like. We're going to paint that in a minute. Now, pumpkin leaves are curly, and I know there are different kinds of pumpkins, and so some of them have different leaves, but they're kind of ruffled. This particular one, at least that I'm going to draw, is a ruffle. That's not at all what it looks like. It has a point on the end on that section, like right here. And so that's basically what a pumpkin leaf looks like. And it's got veins in it. Not exactly sure how the veins go, but something like that. Okay? But I'm going to actually draw them on the paper. But the pumpkin itself, I'm going to paint, and then I'm going to cut it out. So let me find my paints. I had them here a minute ago. Here they are. Now, I learned this several years ago, but pumpkins come in all different colors. You can get a white pumpkin, you can get even a blue pumpkin. But this one, we're going to have the more traditional pumpkin, which is orange. And I'm going to take some paint. And I don't want to wet this paper terribly because it's, obviously it's not a watercolor paper. And I'm starting out light. We're going to add some darker orange. But when you're doing watercolor, I got something fuzz or something on that. When you're doing watercolor, you have to go light to dark because you cannot put a watercolor on, a light watercolor on top of a dark watercolor. Now, if you've got gouache, you can put a light gouache on top of a watercolor because it's opaque and it's not see-through like traditional watercolor is. So that's an option if you want to do something like that. And on occasion, I do use a white. Gouache. Okay, so I've got that done, and it's going to take a second to dry. And then I'm going to start out with a lighter brown. It's so light you can't see it. We get a little bit more pigment on here. Of course, the leaves are green. I went looking on Pinterest for pumpkins that had pumpkins in the patch that had leaves on them. Well, almost all the pumpkins in the patch that have leaves on don't have leaves on them. The leaves have dried up, and I don't know exactly how you grow pumpkins and then sell them or whatever in a pumpkin patch, but they were all dead. The vines and the leaves were all shriveled up. All right, so let's see. Oh, I need to put a little bit of orange back on this back part. I left that out. Okay, so that's pretty much how we paint a pumpkin. Now, I should have done it before I got started, but I didn't. But here it is. I didn't know exactly where my heat tool was. I could have done this a little straighter, and then I would have had the words from the. This is from a hymnal. I would have the words from the hymnal, but I didn't do it very straight. They're on there, but they're not all on there. If that makes any sense. It's hard to believe that we're November 1st, and we have 30 days in November and 25 in December, so 55 days. And it's Christmas. I don't do a lot for Christmas anymore. My kids are grown and they don't, Anyway, and I don't have. Well, I have grandchildren, and I do tend to give them something, but my boys don't give me anything, and for the last couple of years, that's exactly what they got. Nothing. I don't mean to be a humbug, but anyway. You didn't need to know that, but I love my sons, but they have lives of their own, and Mom isn't always part of it, but that's why I do what I do. This and the other art that I do. Okay, so here's our little pumpkin. And we're going to put him on this page right here. And I don't think I want to try to use a glue stick. Although this is not heavy, and I did use a glue stick on everything else that I glued, but now this glue has been working great, but right at the moment it's not. I bought a little, let me show it to you, this little glue holder, that's what I'm using it for. I'm sure you can use it for other things, but so the glue just sits like that, so it's, to the end of it. The glue is at the tip instead of being at the bottom of the bottle. And this is not coming out. Let me see. This is the first time I tried to use it since I put it on that little stand. And, well, I didn't drink coffee this morning because I didn't get up early enough. I don't drink it if it's late. Okay, here we go. Well, I thought I got a little bit of glue, but not enough to glue it down. Sorry about that. I should have tested it out before I got on camera, but coming out very slowly. Hopefully, I got a big glob there. That's probably what the holdup was. It was stuck. I may end up not liking this little bottle thing. Put some glue on the stem. Hopefully that'll hold it down. First thing I gotta do is get it turned over, which should be easier than, except my threads are getting in the way. Okay, so there's my little pumpkin. And let me put the pen back in this. Clean the glue off the top. Put the pen back in it. And we'll try that again. All right, so I'm going to take my pen. Let me stick this. I told you not to avoid the seams, but this is what happens when you use them. Things come up. Okay, I think everything else maybe is glued down good enough. Okay, so I'm going to take my pen and I'm going to do that little curly Q thing that the pumpkin stem does. Let me darken it up just a little bit. Okay, now then the vine, of course, is going to be running all along the ground. And the leaves, if I get them kind of right, there's something on here that doesn't want to paint over. Okay, that's the and we're going to paint this later. So I'm going to draw the, it really does not want to draw. Let me see if I've got something else that I can use. My Stabilo mark's all I can use. And that writes over just about everything. Okay, so the vine's gonna run out here, and then we're gonna have another leaf, which is gonna be going in a different direction. Okay, go over this vine. When I put the watercolor down, this vine is going, because it's Stabilo, it's gonna water activate, so, but it isn't a bad thing. Okay, so that's my vine and my leaves. All right, now, let's see, let's go ahead and paint the leaves. So I'll get my brush back out, watercolors back out, and we're gonna do a green. Got a couple of greens here, but let's see what this looks like. That looks pretty good. leaves are not one shade of green. They're a variety of shades. It's not all one green. Paint my vine. And maybe I should put a leaf over here. Okay, let's see, now let's paint that one. Okay. It's very dark, but hopefully it'll dry a little bit later. My pumpkin is not attached to the vine, which that's the way I saw all the pictures just about in the on Pinterest, and I had pumpkins that were not attached to the vines. Okay, so we've got that done. Now, I'm going to put words on here, and I'm going to show you how I do them. I get a piece of tissue paper. Now this is tissue paper, but it's a heavy strength tissue paper, and you can find it on Amazon and probably at other places too. And I get a piece of lined paper. This is just a composition book that you can get for like 49 cents or something like that. For back to school and really all year long. And I have chosen scriptures that I want to kind of reference, and I actually changed the one for pumpkin to give thanks to the Lord, and it's from Psalm 136, verse 1. And then I've selected 12 things that I'm going to do. I'm not going to show you all that right now, but I will, you'll get it as the days come by, as we get into the, every day will be something different, and it's a scripture that we're giving thanks to the Lord. So this is the way I do it, and you can do it any way you want to. I put it on tissue paper because tissue paper will pretty much dissolve and meld with the background, and it becomes invisible. So all you see is the writing. So I've got, I'm writing on this tissue paper, and my pen, I just ruined my pen. That happens if you write over top of paint. Okay, I have a micron that I'm using. Okay, so we're going to do give thanks the other good thing about writing it on tissue paper and not writing it on your journal is you can redo it if it's not good. Give thanks to and there are two different ways that you see the word Lord written, and in this case it's the word that the Jews won't pronounce. You see sometimes in other religions, or in Protestant religions, they use the word, and it's, you may see Jehovah or Yahweh. And in this case, this is from the ESV, and it has the word Lord written in all caps, which is that word Jehovah or Adonai, or not Adonai, Jehovah or Yahweh. That's how we say it, but they won't say the word. That's why you just use the word Lord or Adonai. Okay, so now I've written it out. It doesn't look very pretty, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to double the downstrokes every time. It goes down, then it'll go up, and I'm not doubling that size. This eye is all of its, and this is down, that's up. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to do this E, which is, that's down. The T goes down. The H goes down, and it goes down right here too. The A is down here this way, and then the curve is down. N is down. This part is down. The K goes down. Actually, all three of these marks go down. And then the S, right there it's down, and right there it's down. Okay, so, and then the word to, the T is down. O gets the down part of the O, and this part is up, so you don't do that one. And then the T again, and the H, and the H, and the E, and the L. This part goes down. This part goes down. I'm just going back up to darken it. This part goes down. That's down. That's down. And the little Lord. And this part is down. And then I'm going to do an exclamation point. Okay, so that's what I'm going to put in my journal. And when we glue it down, you'll see that it actually pretty much disappears. Okay, so let's see. And the other thing you want to do is you don't want to cut it, you want to tear it, because that helps to, if you don't have the straight edge, it helps you becomes invisible. And of course, you want to be careful not to tear your words. Sorry for all the noise. This paper is noisy. Let me put it out of the way. Okay, so now I've got one edge that's been torn. Let's see if I can get a little bit closer on this. Am I in camera? Oh no. You don't have to worry about it being straight or anything like that, because the edges are pretty much going to be invisible. Okay, let me get this little piece off. All right, so here's my journal. And I've got my words. Now I just need to decide where I want to put them. I don't think I want to do it over the leaf. That looks like a pretty good place. Now, for this one, I'm going to use matte medium. that way it is, helps to, for it to become invisible. You put it on the page, then put your words down, and then put matte medium on top of your words as well. That's plenty, I think. And I'm going to use this because it, that way it doesn't mess up my brushes. And obviously this could stand to be clean, but this is what I used when I was putting down the gesso. You can also put this down, put the gesso down, the matte medium down with a credit card or a gift card or, whatever you might have. You see that you really can't tell that that it's on paper. The tissue paper just melds into the background. So that's done. Okay, now I'm going to set this aside, and I want to make a little tag to put in it. And I've been saving these for a long time. You can see with this bag that I've got all kinds of tags, and from garment tags, any kind of like a business card or this was a 15% off thing that was stuck in one of the packages I get. But I just save them. And one of the places I like to shop is a place called Natural Life. They're online. You can get, they have a website on Life. And they put these little tags on everything that they sell. It doesn't always have a bead on it, but they have these cute little tags that says Natural Life. And I'm gonna cover the words Natural Life. Although I could obviously put that there if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna take this. I've been making some papers and things that I thought I could use in my artwork, and this is one of them. I've just swatched out some paints that actually I think these were pencils, and then I did black. It's not black and white, but it's black and cream or craft. And anyway, so I want to. May need to adjust the size of this some a little bit. I want to cover this little front. I don't want to cover the little flower border. I just want to cover the words Natural Life. And let's see how that is. That's good. Now I am gonna put this down with glue stick. I don't want to put it down on that. Okay, I've got that. Now the back side, it gives a little information about the company and everything. And this is one of the under papers that I had been actually when I was making some jelly plate prints. I rolled off the excess paint onto this paper, and I think this right here will be a good place, a good thing to add to that background, to the back of the tag. Okay, let's see how I want to do this. I didn't want to take this cord out because you see how tiny that hole is? I didn't want to try to put it back in there. So I'm going to put this paper down below the tag, below the hole. I'll scoot it up a little bit. Okay, now I can cut off the excess. Around the edges. Oh, we got a whole round corner punch, but I'm just going to follow this tag instead of getting that out. Okay, let's see if I want to do anything else to this. Maybe we'll do a few splatters. I bought a new bottle of this P.H. Martin bleed proof white. I have the other bottle, but it had dried up, and I had added some matte medium to it to thin it out a bit. And I could use it, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm using this instead. Now, the splatters that you get are larger with the, as they'll get larger as you get a brush that's larger. But I'm going to use this small one, I think, to start out with at least. I'm just going to take, well, this is not dried up, but I'm going to need a bunch of water. So let me put it in this cap. There we go. A lot of people do this. I don't get anything when I do that, so I just always tap it on my finger. Some people will take another brush and tap it that way. That works too. If you're bothered by getting paint on your hands or anything, but if you're like me, when you do splatters, you get them everywhere anyway. Okay, but I'm gonna on my heat tool and dry this. The scripture says, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. And he is indeed good. Okay, this is my little tag that I want to put on here. I've got this, it's the edging of a towel, a linen towel. Well, I don't think it's linen, but like a tea towel. You can see it. It's the binding part of it, and I put it in a black tea bath. I've got a hole somewhere on uncovered. I mean, I opened up the bundles that I had for this black tea, and this is just that edging that I tore off, and I thought, well, this will make good. It'll be good, and I'll use it for other projects. So I'm going to cut some of this off. I won't need much. and I'm gonna just, I want to not staple that, but to staple it. This may be a little more difficult than I had hoped. And I've got my Tim Holtz tiny attacher. Staples very small. And let me see if I can manage to get it on that little lip right there without going through the, I think I did. Wonders never cease. Okay, so I've got my little tag. I've got my little beaded thing, and let's see, how do I want to do this? Maybe I could have done a pocket. Let me think about that. I need something thick enough. Should have thought about this before I got on here. Let's see what happens if I do this. Put that on the inside. May be too big, but we're going to cut it. We can cut it, always cut it down. That'll work. I want to get a piece of masking tape. This is a 1/2 inch masking tape. I think it's 1/2 inch. It could be 3/8. I'm not sure now. I said that. I'm going to tear off a piece of that and put it halfway on this side and halfway on the other side to tape that together. If it bothers you that it didn't go all the way to the top, then you can take it all the way to the top. And then I'm going to get one for the bottom. Tear this one a little bit longer. Now, let's see what we're going to do. Get the tape on there. Well, could actually put it on with masking tape, or I could glue it. So let me see how this glue is doing now. I'll try to do something to unclog this glue before I get back on here next time. What I'm thinking is I've got 12 pages or 12 spreads to do, and I think that Thanksgiving is late this year. I'm not exactly sure of the date, but I'd like to have this done before Thanksgiving. So if I do it every other day, that's what I'm thinking. Every other day I'll do one. And we'll be through before Thanksgiving. I'm going to hold it down just a little bit. And I'll take my tag and slip it in there. Before I do that, I kind of want to do some splatters. I got some gold, iridescent gold paint, and I got some silver paint. Let's see, there's probably got a little sticker thing because I just got them. It's got a thin coat left on there. Let's see if I can get it off. With a skewer. This is kind of aggravating. I guess it has to be on there so it doesn't dry up. I have a little gold on this under paper. Okay, now I'm going to put the cap back on. And I'm going to put a bit of the gold on this under paper. I don't need very much. And I'm going to take my little brush that I had a minute ago. What did I do with it? There it is. And I'm going to add some water to this gold paint. You can do this in a box, put it in a box, and then it doesn't get over everywhere. But I don't ever take the time, although I did save a box. Got a box saved to do some of this, but okay, I think that's good. And let's give it a dry. If you're doing this along with me, I know that at least one person is. But if you're doing this along with me, I would love to see what you create. So attach them, send me make a comment with them, attach your pictures. Love to see it. All right, I think that's dry. Now let's see. Do I want to do something to this little this little corner tab. I want to get my watercolors back out for just a second. And I'll just swatch the colors I used. Doesn't look very different, does it? The bottom one is more yellow. And then the green, I used a couple of greens, but I used that one. And that one. And let's try it one more time. And let me take my marks all. I'm trying to decide if I want to water activate them or not. Okay, I believe that this is all I'm planning. Oh, let me get my tag. Slip my little tag back in the pocket. So this is day 1 of our 12 days of gratitude. I hope you enjoy this, and I thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you again in a couple of days on November the 3rd. Have a great evening.